Do you feel like your mind is always racing, that you can't relax even when you're alone? The truth is, the culprit may be in the palm of your hand. Today, I'm going to show you 10 common digital habits that are silently destroying your peace of mind. If you identify with 2 or more, it may be time for a digital detox. Habit number 1. Checking your phone as soon as you wake up. One of the most harmful habits for your peace of mind is checking your phone as soon as you wake up. It seems harmless, but this simple gesture triggers a chain reaction in your brain. By opening your phone in the first few minutes of the day, you surrender your mental state to external chaos, accumulated messages, random notifications, negative news, and social media full of comparisons. You haven't even given your mind time to wake up naturally, but you're already overwhelmed with stimuli. Instead of starting the day with intention and calm, you activate a state of alertness and anxiety first thing in the morning. Your brain understands that it needs to be available, reactive, ready to respond to the world, and this compromises your focus, clarity, and productivity in the hours that follow. In addition, this habit creates an emotional dependency. Your cell phone becomes your first source of validation, distraction, or even dopamine, which can indicate the beginning of an addiction. Over time, this behavior reduces your tolerance for silence, boredom, and introspection, essential elements for a peaceful mind. Replacing this habit with a few minutes of silence, reading, meditation, or deep breathing can transform not only your morning, but the entire rhythm of your day. How you start your mornings defines the quality of your mind and consequently your life. Habit number 2, constant notifications. Constant notifications on your cell phone are like little distraction bombs that explode throughout the day. And each one steals a piece of your peace of mind. With every sound, vibration, or pop-up on your screen, your brain goes into alert mode. Even if you don't notice it, this stimulus interrupts your thinking, breaks your focus, and conditions you to live in reactive mode, as if everything were urgent. The worst part is that most notifications are not really important. Likes, group messages, promotions, useless reminders. They serve the interests of the platforms more than they do yours. When your brain receives these frequent signals, it releases dopamine, the same neurotransmitter involved in addiction. And so you become dependent on short, immediate stimuli, losing the ability to concentrate for long periods or simply be silent. Over time, this causes mental fatigue, irritation, anxiety, and even insomnia. Excessive notifications create a sense of constant urgency, even when there is nothing really urgent going on. It's like living in a state of continuous microstress. The solution starts with a simple attitude. Turn off everything that isn't essential. Choose when and how you want to connect, rather than being interrupted all the time. Silencing your phone can literally be an act of self-care. The peace you seek may be just a click away, the click to turn off notifications. Habit number 3, jumping from app to app without purpose. One of the most common and dangerously overlooked habits is jumping from app to app without any clear purpose. You open Instagram out of boredom, switch to WhatsApp without knowing why, then go to YouTube, TikTok, email, and before you know it, 30 minutes have passed. But the problem isn't just the time wasted, it's what it's doing to your mind. Each app switch activates a new stimulus, a new expectation, a new dopamine rush. And over time, your brain gets used to this constant gratification, losing the ability to concentrate, to stay focused on a single task, to think deeply. You enter a fragmented state of mind, always jumping from one stimulus to another, with no room for silence, reflection, or creative boredom. This impulsive, repetitive, and automatic behavior is exactly what big companies want, for you to scroll, click, consume without thinking. And that's how you become a product of the system, instead of using it to your advantage. The feeling at the end of the day is one of exhaustion, frustration, and unproductivity, even though you've done a lot. To break out of this cycle, start with something simple. Before opening any app, ask yourself why you're doing it. If there's no clear answer, don't open it. Relearn how to live with intention. Your mind needs direction, not distraction. Habit number 4, sleeping with your cell phone next to your bed. Sleeping with your cell phone next to your bed may seem harmless, but it is one of the most silent and destructive habits for your mental health and sleep quality. Even if you don't use it during the night, just having it there interferes with your rest. The simple fact of knowing that it is within reach activates a state of alertness in the brain. You sleep more lightly, more anxiously, and are more likely to wake up in the middle of the night to just take a quick look. And if that happens, your brain is exposed to the blue light from the screen, which inhibits the production of melatonin, the hormone responsible for regulating sleep. The result? You sleep poorly, wake up tired, with slow thinking and a more unstable mood. In addition, when your cell phone is the first thing you touch when you wake up and the last thing you see before you go to sleep, you are conditioning your mind to live connected 24 hours a day, with no room for introspection, silence, or real rest. Notifications, even in silent mode, still flash, vibrate, or just are there, unconsciously demanding your attention. A habit as simple as leaving your cell phone out of the bedroom or away from the bed can dramatically improve the depth of your sleep and the quality of your thoughts. Your bedroom should be a sanctuary of peace, not an extension of the digital world. Prioritize your rest. The world can wait until tomorrow. Habit number 5. Staying online 24 hours a day for fear of missing something. The feeling that you need to be online all the time, always available, always up to date, is one of the most obvious symptoms of FOMO, fear of missing out. This fear is fueled daily by social media, real-time news, and never-ending conversations on messaging apps. The mind enters a constant state of vigilance, as if disconnecting for a few hours means missing out on opportunities, information, events, status, or connection with others. But the truth is that this behavior comes at a high cost. It robs you of your peace, your presence, and your energy. You can no longer focus on what really matters because you always have one eye on your phone and the other on real life. Your attention is fragmented. Your rest is never complete, and your mind is anxious, waiting for the next notification. FOMO turns you into a hostage of hyperconnectivity, but the reality is that nothing essential happens every minute. Life will not fall apart if you don't respond right away or if you don't know the latest news. What really matters doesn't happen on the screen. It happens in the present, in the now. Learn to silence the digital world for a few hours. What you can gain from this is much more valuable than what you think you're missing. Being always online is not freedom. It's slavery, disguised as connection. Habit number 6, using social media as an emotional escape. Many people turn to social media as a way to relieve difficult emotions: boredom, sadness, loneliness, frustration. It's an almost automatic mechanism. You feel an emptiness or internal discomfort, and within seconds you're scrolling through your feed, watching videos, or looking for some quick distraction. For a few minutes it works. You feel better, numb, entertained. But the problem is that this relief is superficial and fleeting. The pain is still there. It's just been pushed under the digital rug. By turning social media into an emotional escape valve, you avoid dealing with what you really feel. And over time, you lose the ability to face your own thoughts. Worse, you end up exposing yourself to content that reinforces comparison, dissatisfaction, and feelings of inadequacy. Instead of healing, you hurt yourself more. Your feed becomes a distorted mirror that only shows what others want to show, and rarely what you need to see or hear. In the long run, this fuels anxiety, low self-esteem, and emotional dependence on the approval of others. The real solution is not to run away from your emotions, but to embrace them. Take a deep breath, write, talk to someone real, go for a walk. All of these things heal more than endless scrolling. Using social media as an emotional escape is like drinking salt water when you're thirsty. The more you consume, the emptier you feel. Face what you're feeling. Don't run away to your screen. Habit number 7, comparing your life to others. Comparing your life to others is a silent trap that social media has made almost inevitable. You're scrolling through your feed and suddenly you see someone traveling, someone else buying a new car, someone with a perfect body, a smiling couple, a successful career. In seconds, you start questioning your own life. Am I falling behind? Why doesn't this happen to me? What am I doing wrong? But what you see is just a showcase, carefully curated to show the best moments, the most beautiful angles, the most flattering filters. No one posts their flaws, their sleepless nights, their self-esteem crises, or the days when they feel like nothing makes sense. When you compare yourself to this unrealistic snapshot, you become frustrated with an illusion. This weakens your self-esteem, your gratitude, and even your identity. You stop valuing your own journey, your own progress, because you're too busy admiring someone else's stage without seeing what's going on behind the scenes. Constant comparison distracts us from what really matters. Living authentically, respecting our own processes, and recognizing that each person has their own timing. The antidote to this is not to disconnect from the world, but to reconnect with yourself. Your value does not depend on likes or the speed of your success. The only valid comparison is with who you were yesterday. Focus on that and watch your peace return. Habit number 8, respond to messages immediately, always. Responding to messages immediately all the time may seem like a sign of efficiency, attention, or politeness, but in fact, it is one of the behaviors that most destroys your productivity, focus, and even your mental health. When you condition yourself to stop everything you're doing just to respond to someone right away, you're teaching your mind to live in a constant state of urgency and interruption. You never dive deeply into any task, never get into a creative flow, because your attention is always being hijacked. In addition, an expectation is created. Those around you come to expect immediate responses, as if you were required to be available 24 hours a day. And the truth is, no one is. This creates anxiety, drains your mental energy, and weakens your autonomy. The curious thing is that often the messages aren't even important or urgent. They're just another distraction disguised as an obligation. You lose control of your time and put your life on autopilot, reacting all the time to whatever comes up, instead of acting with intention. The digital world has taught us to confuse speed with attention, but responding quickly is not synonymous with caring for others. It is synonymous with neglecting yourself. Learn to set boundaries, turn off notifications, set times to check messages, and understand that there is nothing wrong with taking a little time to respond. Silence is also a form of health. Habit number 9, consuming content excessively. Without reflecting, we live in an age where content consumption has never been easier or faster. In a matter of seconds, you can access an article, watch a video, scroll through a social media feed, or read an opinion on any subject. The problem arises when this consumption becomes excessive and passive, without critical reflection or real assimilation of what has been presented. Information overload, especially when consumed without filters or breaks, overloads your mind and prevents it from processing what really matters. You become a constant spectator, absorbing everything, but digesting nothing in depth. This can cause feelings of confusion, anxiety, and frustration, because, although it seems like you are knowing more, you are actually just drowning in a sea of disordered information. In addition, the lack of reflection prevents you from making real connections between what you have learned and your own life, personal experience, or goals. Content becomes an escape, a distraction that fills the void but doesn't bring about real change. Instead of consuming incessantly, how about taking a step back and reflecting on what you really need to learn? Selecting, digesting, and applying. What you consume is much more valuable than simply seeing everything. Your time and energy deserve to be respected, and your mind needs space to grow, question, and reflect. Habit number 10. Never be bored. The fear of boredom is one of the most striking characteristics of contemporary society. We live in a world where the constant search for quick stimuli and new distractions has become the norm. Whenever a moment of boredom arises, whether while waiting in line, riding the bus, or even when alone at home, we immediately reach for our cell phone, a video, a podcast, anything to fill that momentary void. However, this aversion to boredom is distancing us from something essential: the ability to be with ourselves, to reflect, to be present in the now. When accepted, boredom can be a source of creativity and self-knowledge. By not filling every moment with external stimuli, we give our minds the opportunity to wander, think, process emotions, and even solve problems that would otherwise be ignored. In addition, boredom allows us to find pleasure in the simple things in life, in the details that would normally go unnoticed. The problem with never allowing yourself to be bored is that you miss the chance to reconnect with what really matters. Instead of learning to deal with your own thoughts and feelings, you become dependent on constant stimulation, which creates a cycle of dissatisfaction and anxiety. True freedom lies in knowing that you don't need anything external to feel complete. Boredom is an opportunity in disguise. It invites you to discover the depth of what lies within you. You don't have to throw your phone away, but you do need to regain control. Start small. Turn off notifications. Leave your phone out of your bedroom. Set times for when you will use it. Your peace of mind is worth much more than likes and notifications. If this video resonated with you, leave a comment below with the city you're watching from, and I'll mark it with a heart. Take care, and see you in the next video.